What's up, small business owners? Welcome to our workshop on the Google Business Profile 101. And in today's workshop, we're going to be talking about how to set up your Google Business Profile, optimization, and some other helpful things with the Google Business Profile. So let's pull up our slides today. And so, like I said, we're going to be going through step by step on how to get this going, your Google Business Profile. Really, what it is that let's just start with the stat. 90% of consumers who are searching for businesses or services to engage with are actually searching online. Before they even set foot outside. Most people are not strolling around their neighborhood anymore and looking to see, what businesses are local and around and doing all of that stuff. The first thing they do is go to Google and search, hey, what's around me? And the Google Business Profile is basically the number one thing that they look for. And I'll actually show you how they actually look for that. But in today's day and age, we have a lot of people who are making decisions within seconds after looking online and saying, hey, I want to go there with reviews and all kinds of other stuff. So if your Google Business Profile is not, complete, it's outdated with, outdated hours and things like that, or it's unoptimized, you're not just missing out on visibility online, you're actually missing out on sales. So in this training, we're going to show you exactly how to turn that free profile into a tool to get more business and credibility, visibility, and all of those good conversions and some sales. So today we're going to be talking about going over 4 specific things. The first thing, we're going to go over a quick overview about creating a Google Business Profile. We're going to talk about auditing that profile if you already have one and see what things are lacking. Then we're going to be talking about how to optimize that profile so that you can get the best out of it. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can actually supercharge that with some AI stuff and how to use AI to make your job a lot easier, because you're not necessarily a marketer, but if you own a small business, you got to wear a couple of hats, and one of them is going to be marketing. So I'll show you how to manage all of that by yourself. Before we begin, my name is Josh, and we are the University of La Verne Small Business Development Center. Here at the SBDC, we help small businesses start and grow, and we do that in a couple of different ways. We do that through free one-on-one consulting, and then we do that through free resources like this webinar, or we have some free resources that we will give out a little bit later via online, blogs, all kinds of stuff. So if at the end of this you still have questions, I'm going to cover how you can get free personalized one-on-one help at the end with one of our consultants. Now, the first thing we need to take a look at is how can you set up your own Google Business Profile. This is not going to be a whole kind of setup type of thing, because I'm going to go through it really, really quick. It's basically just going to be an overview, because we really want to get into the optimization and actually updating and making your profile the best it could be. So as we start, what is a Google Business Profile? Google Business Profile is the little, pull this up, is the little thing on the side. If you search for a business, you'll see a little thing come up on the side right here that shows you details about the business, where it's located, what's inside, pictures, and other things like that. And so you want to have that. It's a free profile, and it allows you to manage your business details so you can stand out online. And so how to do that is going to be, you can go to google.com/business, and you can set one up if you don't already have one. And so Google sometimes will have a profile ready made for you, but for the most part, you're probably going to have to make it yourself. And you want to be able to showcase your business online. So we're going to go through that real quick. If you're just starting up, first thing you would need to do is have a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, sign up for a Google account. You can go to google.com or accounts.google.com and you can sign up if you don't already have one. You can make one associated with the business just for yourself. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to, at google.com/business, we're going to set up a Google business profile. And so the first thing you would need to do is basically set up the name if you already have one, or your proposed name if you're just starting up. It may appear in the dropdown if Google already thinks you are a business and you haven't set it up yet. You'll basically what's called claiming. So it may show up for you. Otherwise, you'll just need to put that in, and then you need to enter a category. So if you're a restaurant, a dentist, a doctor's office, a gym, any one of those categories are good on Google, and that's what you'll have to put in. So the next thing is going to be, do you have a location? Now, the locations are going to be physical locations. So if you have a storefront, like say somewhere in downtown Laverne or Glendora, then you want to put in that location. Now, if you're a home-based business and people cannot come to your location, there's going to be a little bit of a difference there, and we'll kind of talk about that. But what you'll want to do is you'll either say yes or no, and then we'll move on from there. So if you'll put in the address of the business, the physical address of the business. You can't put in a P.O. box. It always needs to be the physical address. You can also put in what's called a service area. So if you have a location, but people don't come to your office, you go out to them. So like if you're a HVAC company or you're a plumber and you go out to people most of the time, then you'll probably want to set up what's called a service area so that you can know, hey, we service these particular cities or counties or things like that, to let people know, what's the deal and how do you work as a business. The next thing is going to be contact information. How are people going to contact you? Either by phone number, or if you have a website that they can connect to schedule an appointment or do anything like that. So the next part of it, once you add in all of this information, you'll need to do what's called verification. Now, some people who have a business profile will need to do verification. And if you operate a service area business, you will still need to put in your mailing address or your home address, but it won't show up on the business profile. And then there's going to be several verification types. So phone, text, and email are probably going to be the easiest for you. Those are going to be the fastest, and they can be done same day. If you're doing postcards, that'll take a few days to get to you. If you're doing video, that's probably going to be the hardest one to do, because one, you'll need to shoot a video, and then you'll need to upload it to Google, and then it will take a few days verifying for up to 14 days to make sure that everything looks good before they activate your Google business profile. Some people have trouble with the video part of it, so if you do have to do video, just know there may be some complications, in which case we do have a resource for you where sometimes they will not allow you to activate your Google business profile, or it gets suspended if you're changing a few things. So there is a tool that we will put down in the resources page on how you can get information and appeal so that you can get that Google business profile up and running. So you don't have to worry about, missing out on sales or having to do this lengthy process of getting it reinstated if it's been suspended. So, quick overview of all of that information. I know it's really, really fast, but if you do have difficulties with the verification, Later on in the training, we'll talk about how you can get some one-on-one help to help you with that. But the next thing, after you set up your Google Business profile, you have to make it a habit and make it consistent to manage that profile. What that means is that you should update your info as soon as you can, as often as you can if you need to, add some photos, videos, and posts, and overall see the performance of your Google Business profile. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff when we talk about optimizing, but just to let you know, these are the kinds of things that you're going to need to have to manage it. So keep that in mind. Now, if you already have a Google Business profile, there are some things that we can do to make sure that you're running smoothly and you are actually competing and gaining visibility online. And one of these things is called an audit. And so what we can do when it comes to the audit is we're going to look at a couple of different things. And I'll actually show you what an audit looks like. And we're going to go through it a few things to see what we're going to be doing. But honestly, all it is that we're going to compare the competitors. We're going to gather information about what we do and what they do, and then compare those things. And if we need to make changes, we're going to make changes. But before we actually get into the audit part of it, there are some things, some tools that you're going to need to get set up. One of the tools is going to be what's called the Bright Local SERP Checker. And I'm going to actually show you what this is, and you'll get the slides with the link to do this. But basically what it is it's a website that you can go in and check to see what the local search results for your city are. Because we're going to start very small. We're going to start local in the city. So if I'm, say, a restaurant in Glendora, or if I'm a restaurant in Laverne, I can use this tool to see, hey, restaurants in Laverne, who is the top person in that area? And then you can start figuring out, okay, well, who are the top 3? And figure out, well, what are they doing that I can also do? Or how can I improve on what they're already doing so I can raise up into the ranks? So the next one is going to be GMB Everywhere. And this is a Chrome extension. What it does is it not only gives you ways on how to look at your Google Business profile, which I'll show you actually how that works, but also how you can audit that information so you can see what you're doing and how to do it better. The other one is going to be Plepper SEO Tools. This is also a Chrome extension that you can kind of download and take a look at so that you can get information on your Google Business profile and other profiles once you start looking at them. And the last one is going to be My Web Audit. Actually, let me show you that one because it is an audit tool, but it's a paid tool for a lot of SEO pros. Let's take a look at what that looks like. And so here is the audit tool. And basically what you do is you put in information about the Google Business profile and it spits out this report for you. So you go down here and it gives you a lot of information, stuff about the business, reviews, and just goes through all of this information. If you're really, really, lazy about, I don't want to audit, or I want to spend the least amount of time going through a manual audit of like this, then this tool can actually help you. It is a paid tool. I do believe they give you a 7-day free trial. So if you want to test it out, just for yourself, so you can do it, you can do that for free for 7 days. But the audit itself, the manual audit, really isn't that much trouble, and I'll actually go through one for you. So we'll take a look at that. But let us go to the actual audit tool. So this is the audit tool. All it is a basic spreadsheet. But there's a lot of information here that we need to gather for our business. And so we're going to start here. And like I said, you're going to look at the competitors. There's going to be the top 3 competitors on Google or on Google Maps. And then we're going to go through each one. We're not going to go through each one, but you would go through each one and get the information on how to do it. The first thing we need to do is actually start here. We're going to start here at the Bright Local SERP tool. So let's take a look at a dentist, and we're in Laverne, so we'll try Laverne, United States, and we're going to go Google Maps. And the top 3 competitors are what's called the map pack. So I'll show you what that means and what that actually looks like. So we're going to look at page 1 because those are the top results. And I've actually done this a few times over the last week. And what you need to understand is a lot of things change from day to day, maybe even hour to hour. So start with 1 and then work your way up based on those single results. Like I said, things will change. So if you start seeing your name on this list, then that means you're doing something well. And we've actually done a few audits for people where they've actually been able to grow in the ranks. And so you can see a lot of those changes. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. So top 3 are this Prism Dental, Laverne Dental Group, and Inland Dental Group. The one thing you need to understand is that this Prism Dental, these people paid to be here because it says sponsored. So we want to disregard that. So the real top 3 are going to be the Laverne Dental Group, Inland Dental Group, and this Laverne Dental and Implants. And so what we'll want to do is we'll want to look at each one individually, step by step, and look at the information that they have according to the audit tool. So let's pull this up. And so what you'll notice, there's a bunch of stuff on my page. So right here, this orange is going to be GMB everywhere. Once you download it as a Chrome extension, you'll get a lot of this information, and we'll go through what that means. And then on this side is going to be Plepper. And like I said, it does have a lot of SEO, Google Business Profile stuff. So we'll go over a few of these things. Some things you need to know, some things you don't need to know. So let's go to the tool. And so what we'll do is, this dentist will we'll share, and we'll grab this link here, and we'll put it into our tool for this competitor. And we're going to just look through all of this stuff. So first thing is going to be target locality is in the listing address. All that means is that is the person or business that we're competing with, are they actually in the city that we're in? I said we were looking at Laverne. Here is a business in Laverne. Simple, easy peasy. So let's pull this over so it can be easier to do. So will this say yes? Keyword in listing title. Is their keyword Laverne Dental or Dentist in their business name? Yes, Laverne Dental Group. That's part of the business name. I was looking for a dentist in Laverne. That's what it is. So locality in listing title, yes, it was Laverne, and we were looking in Laverne, so we'll put yes. The reason why it comes up as red is because those are marks for your competitor and against you. So obviously you'll put in your business information here, but if they're doing better than you, then those might be things that you may be deficient in, so those are things that you might need to change. The keyword and locality and stuff like that, you can't really change that because if you pick the business name beforehand, can't necessarily change it on a whim like that. So that's not necessarily something you need to, but it's just for your information. So the next thing we're looking at is going to be the primary category. And this is where the tools come in. So I'm looking at both here and here. So obviously, if you're a dentist in Laverne, your primary category should be dentist. And that's what it says here, and that's what it says here. The other thing, so we'll put in dentist. The other thing is that if they have more categories, then you would want to put other categories that apply to you. So for Laverne Dental Group, they have a cosmetic dentist. They do cosmetics, procedures. They have a dental hygienist, an oral surgeon, some teeth whitening service. Says all here. You want to just compare to make sure that these are square. If you offer more services than just general dental, then you may want to put in more categories. I believe you can put up to 9 categories, but the order of those extra categories doesn't really mean much as long as you have them, so that if people are searching for, say, a cosmetic dentist or a teeth whitening service or oral surgeon, those things will come up as well instead of just general dentistry. These are keywords. These are things people are going to be searching for that you want to be known for. So we can put all of those things here. Next thing is going to be website URL. Do you have a website? Can people link to that website? They do right here, so we don't have to worry about it. And they also have a little website widget here. And those are things that the Google Business Profile will actually have automatically once you put in all that information. So if it's there, they have it. Next thing is going to be local business markup. What this is more technical SEO. It's called a schema validator. All you really need to know is more like sitemap stuff. This is very technical, very advanced. If you don't know anything about it, don't worry about it. You might want to work with somebody who is a website developer who can help you fix that up. All it means is that when Google actually crawls your website, that it has the right pages and things in it that constitute a website. So do you have a home page? Do you have a products and service page? Do you have all of this stuff? And it'll actually list it out for you. So do I need to add some sort of service page? Do I need to add an About Us page? Adding certain pages so that you show up on Google as with more information so that people know what kind of business it is. So it's pretty technical. You don't have to really worry about it right now. But if you want to get into more technical SEO, you can do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is the reviews. So reviews are probably one of the most influential things when it comes to a Google business profile. Google does, give you more prominence if you have more reviews. Now, that's not the only thing that they raise you in the ranks for, but that's one of the major things. So review strategies are a big thing when it comes to Google, and having more reviews and having more of 5-star reviews does help you in the ranks. So let's take a look at that. So down here we have 4.3, and how many reviews? They have 311. So we'll put that here. So it's 311 at 4.3. And then the other thing is, do they have third-party reviews? And so if they have a Facebook page, you can go there or a Yelp page or anything like that, and you can check reviews. Do they have third-party reviews? Yes, they do. That will go into something a little bit later, but the more links you have to your Google Business Profile, the more visibility you have. So just so you know about that. And then the final things down here, do they have more social profiles? I talked about that. I'll show you what that actually looks like when we get to the auditing part of it. We'll actually take a look at our Google Business Profile and to see how do you actually update and mess with these things. But social profiles, Facebook, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest are the 5 social profiles they link to. So ideally, if you have profiles on all of those, you're building your visibility as far as backlinks and things like that. But you don't have to have all of those things. The more you do, the more visibility. If you don't worry about it. It's not that important, but you do want to have as much visibility online as much as possible. And I'll show you what that actually looks like online when we go to our page. Next thing, lead generation forms. Yes. So this is more on the website side. So if you have a lead generation form, Are you making it easy for people to, for you to gather information about people? Are you making it easier for you to gather information about, how people come to your website or how people get into your business or into your pipeline? So those are things that you want to think about. They don't influence the business profile, but they are things on the more marketing side on how to bring in new people, how to bring in new customers, and how to actually sell to them. After that, the phone number. Do you have a phone number? Can people contact you? That's pretty self-explanatory. Do you have an offer? Now, when it comes to offers, do you have products and services? So on this profile, they have products and services that they promote. And so they have this, and you can learn more about this. If I click on them, they may have some kind of form that I fill in about interest about this business or this particular service. That's lead generation. Am I learning more information about somebody who comes to my business or to my website than I did before? So those are things you want to think about. Again, they don't influence your ranking on the Google Business Profile, but they are good things to know from a marketing standpoint. And a lot of this stuff you can get help with, like email marketing or advertising and things like that, to drive more traffic to your business. This is just one of the ways to do it. And so once we have all of that information and we start comparing and contrasting, you might realize, hey, you know what? This person has more reviews than I do, and they have higher reviews. Okay, well, maybe I should create a strategy on getting more reviews. If they have more categories than I do, but I do offer those services, maybe I should include those categories so that I can start competing if people are searching for additional services that I didn't have on my profile. I may be able to compete with other services who offer more stuff. And now I'm just making it more visible on my Google Business Profile because people know that I do that. So this is all of that stuff when it comes to the audit, all that information. Now on the second page of this, here's a checklist. So listing basics, is it filled out? Like I said, if it's incomplete, you're missing out on visibility. We'll talk about digital assets a little bit later when we talk about optimization, but you should have pictures or video on your Google Business Profile. Google has been doing a thing called 100% completion, where you fill it out as much as possible and you get a score. Now, the score isn't really that valid because our Google Business Profile, I believe, is like 89% or something like that. And we're really not missing out on any kind of visibility. It's a gamification type of thing where they say, oh, well, if you have 100% complete, you can, grow in the ranks and do all the stuff. Yes and no. It's really kind of vague on how they do that. But just know if you try to fill it out as much as possible, you can make sure that people find you online. And that's what you want to do. You want to make it as complete as possible so that people know who your business is. Now, when it comes to reviews, you want to respond to your reviews and you want to have a strategy. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. We talk about optimization and AI. Posts, you should do posts. You should do events and offers and things like that. You should have a strategy around that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Q&As, frequently asked questions, questions and answers. You should have those things. And we'll talk about how you can make those really quick for your business without having to do a lot of thinking about it. And then the last part down here is management. Who is actually managing this profile? How are they managing the profile? Are you doing this yourself? Are you delegating it to somebody? Do they have the tools that they need to actually manage it the way they need to? Is it once a week, a few times a week? How are they doing that? And are they on top of it? So now we're going back to the slides real quick, and we're going to be talking about optimizing. So now that you have a good understanding of what is going to make a good profile with our audit and how we can set that up, let's go to actually optimizing it if it's not set up the way you thought it was. And so we're going to go over 4 different areas. We're going to talk about the profile description. We're going to talk about how you can get your photos and videos on there, how to work with posts, and then how to get and manage reviews. And so the first thing is the business description. Now, the business description is pretty self-explanatory. Google has employed AI using Gemini for your business description. So if you actually want to put in that information, it can help you say it better or wordsmith it for you to make it easier for people to fill out that description a little bit better than if you just wrote it yourself. You do want to review it for accuracy to make sure that it is what your business does and represents your business correctly. But knowing you have AI as a tool for yourself to help you get more sales or to build visibility in your business is a really good thing to have. So with photos and videos, you want to have a certain amount of photos. When we went into the audit, it did say you want to have 3 establishment photos, either in the interior or exterior. If you have a big place, you might want to have more, but bare minimum, you want to have stuff on the inside, pictures of the outside. You want to have pictures of your team as a group, and then also the team individually. So say like if you have a receptionist, you have a picture of who the first person they're probably going to see, walk into your, when they walk into your establishment, they want to know, oh, who is that person? Oh, maybe there's a little bit information about them, so people are more familiar with your business. And then if you're going to be doing products, listing products or services on your Google business profile, you may want to have those products set up on their on your Google business profile so that you can so they understand what that product is. You can't necessarily do services on the Google business profile, but you can actually show photos of them in the general area. I'll show you what that looks like so that you can show people what you do and how you do it. When it comes to videos, 30 seconds max, 75 megabytes for a video, which is not a lot. So if you're doing it on your phone, you want to have not the highest quality, but it's still good for, shooting a video on the internet. It's really something that you probably should have that would still look good online. And then again, at 720 is the minimum. It's still kind of HD, but again, it's not, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. But if you can, you want to make it deliberate and not just shooting, 30 seconds of whatever in your business. You want to make it so it's appealing. So for photos, make sure they're focused, well lit. Don't just shoot whatever you have. You want to make it deliberate and you want to make it reflect your business and highlight your business. The next thing is you also want to include a logo and a cover photo, which the Google Business Profile encourages you to do. It's not required, but it encourages you to do that so people actually know and have some brand recognition. The one thing that they tell you don't do is what's called phone stuffing. What that means is that every time you take a picture, you go in and edit your phone number in like the corner of the picture or along the bottom. You don't want to do that. That's spammy. Google will probably suspend you for stuff like that. So I would just avoid that, just having good pictures and good videos if you can. So for the third thing is going to be posts. Now there are 3 types of posts that you can put on your Google business profile. One's called an update. These are basically announcements, updates for your blog. If you have a blog on your website, you can say, hey, we have this new article. You might want to check it out. The other thing is going to be an offer. Do you have a specific sale that's going on? Or some kind of coupon code that people can take advantage of for a certain amount of time? And then the last thing is going to be an event. Are you doing some sort of outreach event, community event, anything like that? A lot of those things, you want to have posting. When it comes to posts, you should do for updates, they last for 1 week before they drop off and they're no longer visible on the Google Business Profile. They don't keep them visible. You can still look at them, but they're not visible in search. When it comes to offers and events, those are only technically visible until they expire. So if the offer is good for 2 weeks, that offer will be prominent for 2 weeks, and then it'll kind of fall by the wayside. Same thing with the event. So with updates, it is really, really easy to set one up. So let's take a look at the Vern SPDC. So let me show you what ours looks like so that you can see what we're doing. Apologies. Let's go to this. Here we go. Okay, so the profile strength stuff, that whole gamification thing, that's what this is right here. If you go and complete info, it just tells us, oh, you can complete your profile. It says like, oh, you can have a cover photo and stuff like that. Kind of, we already have one, but you can update it if you want to stay up to date. It doesn't really do anything. We have the same stuff all the time. Let's see, I have a lot of tools here. But let's go to updates. So like I said, there were 3 types of updates. You would just go here and you can add an update. So here you would put in, we have a new blog post or something like that, and you can add a call to action. Sean, our director, always says, picture, paragraph, call to action is what's usually done in marketing. Exactly the same thing. Picture here, paragraph here, call to action, and we can do any one of these things. Whichever one works for the type of post that you're putting. So let's go back. Again, the offer, same thing. What is the offer title? When does it start? When does it end? And then there's some more details about coupon codes and a link to redeem if it's a one-time thing. So you can do that. Okay. And then the next thing is going to be an event. So if you're doing like a community event or any kind of additional outreach or something like that, the event, the picture, when does it start? When does it end? And some details, how people can visit you or reach out and do some other stuff, and the call to action. So really easy. These things it's not rocket science when it comes to this stuff, but it's very, very easy to get started. And then the last thing is going to be reviews. So like I said, I think I've thoroughly, drilled on this. Reviews are the biggest thing that influence what place your Google Business Profile is online. So the biggest thing is that you need to ask for reviews, and we'll get into how you can do that effectively and easily. But for the biggest thing is getting reviews. You can do it by email, you can do it by social, and you can do it via link. So let's go back to here. Ask for reviews. So if I wanted to send somebody a review, I can send it by email, I can send it by WhatsApp, and I can send it via Facebook. And we also have a QR code. So let me see. We actually have a QR code sitting right on our table over here that we can tell people, thank you very much, that we can tell people, hey, if we have a customer or a client who comes into our business and they say, hey, I've had a really good meeting with my consultant. They did very well. It's like, oh yeah, would you like to, do a review for us? Click this on this QR code and it goes straight to the review. So if I wanted to do that, let's do that right now. So we'll go QR code, link copied. So if they were to click on the QR code, we'll go straight to it. and it pulls it up. So it pulls up if they're, signed into Gmail, 5 stars. I can just do that simply. And I can also put in the details about my business. And then you can put in a photo of how they did whatever service or product it is, so that they can get a little bit more feedback on how the service was handled. But that's pretty much it when it comes to reviews. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to not only get the request, but then also respond to that and actually give you that review. So, finally, when it comes to managing reviews, there are some general basic things that you want to do, some best practices about how to deal with reviews. Really what you want to do is you want to be professional. You want to be polite when it comes to reviews, and you want to always respond to them. Respond to them promptly. We make it so that we respond to them within 24 hours. Sometimes it's a little bit sooner. And we do employ a lot of things that make it really easy for us to respond to them, which I'll show you in a little bit. But we don't, again, we follow these rules. We don't use the responses to advertise our business. It's a little spammy and a little underhanded. The other thing is we always thank our happy customers in the review itself, in our replies. And then if you have a bad review and they call you out, you want to make sure you address those issues constructively. And I'll show you how to do that when it comes to doing stuff with AI. And then you want to make sure any other conversations, whatever kind of specific feedback they have, if they didn't put it online, how you can address that and put those things into practice so stuff like that doesn't happen again. But for the most part, do not try to argue with people online as it is, flame wars and things like that. We want to be respectful. We want to be, professional, because you are a business and you don't want to upset anybody else so that people dogpile you online. That's just not good. So I know it's been a lot today. We've covered a lot of things very quickly. But what we want to do is I want to go over how you can make all of this optimization, management, and all of this stuff so much easier. And I'm going to provide you a few resources on how you can supercharge your business profile. So we're going to cover a few different areas. I'm going to show you how to do the business profile description before you actually use AI in the profile. So if you want to think about stuff beforehand, you can actually do that, kind of refine it before you have to use Gemini in the Google Business Profile. Some people don't like to do that. The next thing is we're going to talk about frequently asked questions. I did say there was a way on how to figure that stuff out and how to make it easier for you to come up with questions and how you can answer them. The next thing is we're going to be talking about posts, specifically a strategy on planning posts, and then actually how to create them. And then the big thing, we're going to wrap it all up with a bow, how to respond and ask for reviews, which is one of the biggest things that influence your Google Business Profile. So, demo time. In your resource folder that you'll get at the end of this training, you will get a whole sheet of prompts for Gemini AI or ChatGPT, your AI of choice. I use Gemini for a lot of this stuff, but we'll send this out in an email. So if you did register and you attended, you will get these resources. If you registered but didn't attend, don't worry about it. If you're watching this as a replay, you will also get this information. And those who are watching this on social, we'll put in some links for you as well so that you can get some of this information and you can employ it for your Google Business Profile. So here we go. you'll see a bunch of tabs here. These are all the things that we're going to talk about, like I said. And then every smaller one is going to be individual prompts. So let's pull this up and let's make this a little bit bigger for you. And then what we are going to do is we're going to go to Gemini and we're going to play around with this stuff. So we're going to go new chat. All right. First one is going to be the Google Business Profile description. So what you want to do is, if you know what your business is going to be doing and you want to wordsmith a description, Google does say that you should keep it under 750 characters. But what makes a good profile description is you're wanting to highlight your business, what it does well, and how it does well. So let's copy this real quick and we'll put it into Gemini. And let's go on the same line of profile description for say a dentist that offers, I'll say, let's do a teeth, let's do teeth whitening. Target audiences are, families or, seniors. Unique selling propositions, if you have them, you can put them in here. We're not going to put them in here. Mention social proofing. What that means is how long we've been around. So we mention of founding in 2000. So we'll say let's see. So once we put in a unique selling proposition, let's say we have great customer service with patients. Okay. Family focused dental practice in 2000. We'll put in the name of the business as well. And this is a really good profile description, short and sweet. You can put in more information. You can be as detailed as you want. More detail means better output when it comes to using AI. So this is a really good description that you can use for a business of your type. So that's just one thing. So let's move on to the next one. Next thing is going to be generating frequently asked questions. So we're going to use the same example. This is going to be one whole prompt here. So let's go back here. And again, we're going to let's put in Laverne, California, business name. What is this? Let's do dentistry. Just making this up as I go along. Let's see. Products or services. We'll do so teeth whitening, and let's do oral surgery as well to get some different output. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm asking it, give me 20 frequently asked questions that people might be asking about the business. And then I'm also giving it a couple of different areas, a couple of different types of questions, and we'll see what areas they do. There are some common ones, but it may come up with some different ones. So, obvious questions: where are we located? What are hours of operation? How can I schedule an appointment? Which is an interesting one. Do I accept new patients, insurance plans, things like that? Those are basic questions that you may want to ask as a frequently asked question. What insurance is? Who are you marketing to? different stuff like that. And then it goes into the specific services. So, what teeth whitening options do you offer? Is it safe? This might be a blog post. How long do results last? That's also a blog post. Will it make my teeth sensitive? That's also, you can expand that into a blog post. But these ones can be short and sweet answers, but then you can also have other content besides that as posts or updates and things like that, and start creating a whole strategy around these things. When I do blogging for business as a video or as a workshop, frequently asked questions, the top 10 frequently asked questions is usually the first thing we go to before we start expanding out and doing more in-depth questions and in-depth topics to talk about when it comes to content marketing or just marketing in general. Same thing with oral surgery and then general dental questions. So again, these could be specific frequently asked questions. These can also be expanded out to other questions and content. And then for this part, you can actually do the answers. So if you are really lazy with the answers and you don't want to answer them, you can have a prompt on answering the questions. You just want to make sure that they're accurate enough and they actually, highlight what your business does. You don't want to put out lies and you don't want to put out false information when it comes to what your business does. And so you can have them wordsmith the answers as well. So for general posts, there's a few different ways on how to do this. First thing we're going to do is so let's change this. We're going to do Laverne. So we're going to give it some information ahead of time, general information about the business. And then we're going to help it, or we're going to have it generate some stuff for us. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it information about the business. So we're going to put that here, general information. Let's see, we're in Laverne. We're still going with the dentist thing. Business hours, desired tone, this is what we do, stuff like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask it to generate some posts and a schedule. So what we'll do is we'll do here. So we can just put all that stuff in here. Change this to Lover. And we'll just do one post per week. We're going to make it really easy for you. And so it has information about my business that I already pre-programmed. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give me a schedule of updates that I may need to have. And so for updates, it'll say, oh, if you want to prep for summer for kids who are out of school who might need checkups. Second one is going to be senior focused, maintaining health for seniors, prevention, and then posts for back to school. Then if I want to do events, we can do a community involvement event or dental health month for October. And then some other offers. Do we want to have some kind of marketing to bring in more customers or some kind of special for specific services? And then it also talks to me about, oh, you can add photos and videos and things like that, so it can help us put those things together. So let's say I want to make a post about an update. So I have a update post here. So I already created all these things. So all you need to do is plug and play. Again, we'll do business. Actually, you know what? I don't have to do that because it already has. So we'll do update. We'll do. Wait, it should already bring in the information about my business. So we'll do text. do lover, because that's where we're located. And for the keyword, we're going to be, again, teeth whitening, because that's what we're promoting. There we go. And if we have a link, we have a link. So the post, brighten your smile, professional teeth whitening. We're going to have, we may have a specific link to a page talking about teeth whitening, that call to action, picture, and this is the paragraph. So easy peasy. We do that for events. We can do that for offers, and it just makes those things a lot easier. So if you want to build out this entire strategy ahead of time, you can. So last thing is going to be reviews. So what we'll do is, I'll do this real quick, is if you have customers who are coming to you and you want to solicit them for reviews, but you don't really know how to do that, and you don't really know how to create that email or that request, here's how you do it. I already created the prompt for you, so we'll plug and play. So again, we can do dentistry, or this kind of dentist. We can put in our Google review link, but we're not going to do that right now. Easy peasy. So it's going to create the email here. And this is a really good email. If you want to use this, you can put this as a template for your type of business, and you can just use this. If you have a really good interaction with the customer, you can send this by email and with the link to respond and to create the Google review. And that's pretty much it. It says, we want to send you a quick note. Thank you again for choosing our business. We truly enjoyed you having here. If you have a positive experience, would you mind taking some time to share your thoughts on Google? We give them the link here. It really helps folks find, a great dentist that they can trust. If you're feeling extra generous, put in a photo, which is a really good way of building visibility on your Google business profile for reviews, is to have a photo. And then, thank you very much for your support. And this is a great template that you can use to get reviews. And all you need to do is send this out and just keep sending it out for, satisfied customers. Last thing is going to be positive reviews, responding to them, and negative reviews, responding to them. So I'm not going to show you this part right here because it's pretty self-explanatory. But what it is that if you have a positive review, you throw in this this prompt, and it'll actually respond to the review for you. Let me see. I don't want to power it down, so let's do slides. Let's go find a review. Let's go here. So we're going to go find some random review, and I'll show you how this whole part of it works. Google reviews. So let's good. So here we go. Here's a good review. So here's a review that I found. It wasn't on the one that we were looking at. It was on another Google Business Profile. So here we go. Just separate that. So California. Here we go. Business name. Yeah, we don't have to put that in there. And then for CC text below. Here we go. See that slide. So I did have to wordsmith a little bit because I didn't want to shout out or put on any particular business. But basically what this is that we have this copy here of the actual review prompt, and then here's the actual review text. And so it gives us different options. And we can use any of these options to put into our response and make it really easy to actually respond to them. So let me go back. Let's do one last one for, let's do dentist. Let's do a negative review. If I can find one. Yeah, let's do this one. So let's do that. Put that there. Okay, let's go back here. So let's do a negative review and respond. Make this really, really easy. So here's a professional specific review response. So thank you for your valuable feedback. We're truly sorry to hear about your experience. And here's how we can help you make it right. Phone number and email address, like I said, try to handle this offline as much as possible and constructively, and that's exactly what this prompt does. It helps you be professional, be polite, but also get great feedback and get things done. So that is pretty much everything you would need to know. Like I said, in the resources, we will have information for you about how on the AI, the slides, the recording, all of this stuff for you for the business. But that's it for today. Like I said, the Google Business Profile is the biggest thing you could possibly do to grow your business that is free. It's absolutely 100% free. It also moves the needle most when it comes to managing it, using it, and we do it ourselves. We use it most. Sean, my director, has done a talk on getting reviews and managing Google Business Profiles with other SBDCs. We couldn't shout more about this than we could possibly do it when it comes to small businesses, nonprofits, anything else like that. But with all of that said, if at the end of this you have questions, you want help with, managing your Google Business Profile, we can only do so much, but you want one-on-one help. If you still have questions, you can set up a one-on-one appointment with a consultant in our office. And if you are watching this on Zoom, you're already a client. You don't have to worry about signing up again. All you really need to do is at the end of this training, once we sign off, just give us a call at 909-448-1567, and you can set up an appointment to meet with a consultant to work on your Google Business Profile, help you through all the prompts, schedule out things, and start reviewing or responding to reviews, getting more reviews, and actually managing your Google Business Profile as easily as possible. If you have not signed up and registered for this training, all you have to do is register. You can do that at www.lavernesbdc.org/new client. It's right here so that you can sign up as a new client. All you need to do is press the red button that says get started. It takes 5 minutes. We'll get a notification. You can give us a call, or we can give you a call to schedule that appointment, just like if you were registered. So we can get all that stuff ready for you. You can get all of these free resources as well to make sure that you're able to build your visibility online and get more customers. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a long time. It's a lot of information. Don't worry about it. You can always watch the replay online or through an email that we'll send to you right after this training. But that's it for today. look out for our next training on loan package essentials that we will be doing in a few weeks. Otherwise, check out our online email newsletter and everything to see when we're going to be doing more resources and more workshops. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.